Hello, good people. I'm glad you're here, and today we are out in the sunshine for another muscle up workout. This is going to consist of all of the pieces, but no muscle ups today. A little curious. We're going to start with our warm-up, the classic bread and butter goblet squats with a little false grip action and knee over toe push. Doing 10 again. I'm really loving these pauses that I do at the end of the movement. Not here. Five little pumps or 5 seconds of a hold. Whichever one we want to do. Here's the pause. And then up. Right there. I think that's brought a lot of improvement and stability just from exposing my body to that loaded position. Isometrics are so good, and isometric just means the same spot. So just a muscle contraction in one place. You can be pushing against something that's not moving or holding a muscle contraction in a position. Either way. Isometrics are great for pain management, for building better control and mind-muscle connection. You can build strength by them, build muscle by them. Putting holds in is basically one of the best strategies you can do in your workouts. So through this foundations phase so far, I've learned something really important about my ankles. I've dealt with a lot of Achilles tendon pain over the years, just from parkour and actually mostly from longboarding. I think that's what made it the worst. It seems that my Achilles tendon has been on my right side specifically, and also on the left side a little. The Achilles have been doing the work of my soleus and gastroc, like my calf muscles. All this time I thought that my calf muscles were too tight, but it's actually just they're not strong enough. They're too weak. And all the load and impact has been going through the Achilles tendon too much. So doing the calf raises has really helped. Doing these knee over toe movements have really helped that out a lot. I think the calf raises are the biggest one, though. We're going to keep that up. And I think we're going to start to prioritize that a little bit more. Here we go. We're getting to the end of these goblet squats. Let's see if I still have enough willpower to even hold that. Will he do it? Will he do it? Ooh, that was a good hold. All right, next, pick the kettlebell back up for some swings. Simple, just 10 or so swings to wake up my nervous system for power, exertion, speed. Speed is an important element to include in your warm-up. You want a variety of different things. You want slow, you want holds, you want speed, you want different positions, moving in different planes. And next, we're going to bring out the rope. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen this before. This is, well, as far as I know, I got introduced to it from David Weck and the Weck method. So most of you have probably jumped rope before, but I don't know if you've ever swung a rope in a figure 8 pattern before. This one is extraordinarily fun, and it is full and rich with opportunities. So, I mean, obviously you can see here, there's a lot of movement going on, and that alone is great. We're doing a lot with the shoulders, hips, feet, focusing on our steps, internally rotating the foot that's going to the rear, really trying to move your head over the loaded leg, bobbing side to side. Turns out that this figure 8 pattern of swing the rope, especially this one going up, you'll see me do a different one in a moment, but this rope pattern is fundamentally the baseline human locomotive pattern. that we do. So if you pay attention to the way that we run, to the way that we crawl, and any climb, any type of locomotive movement that we do, it's going to have some of this figure eight element ingrained in it as well. And you can look up David Weck and the Weck method for some more context and specifics about that. I bought this rope at a discount bin store that we had in town. Oh man, that place was so good. It was full of Amazon returns you could get. Anyway, it was like $2. A little bit heavier than I was expecting, but that actually turned out to be a good thing. Okay, for some reason this day I thought that I was going to do overhead presses. I think I was tripping. I just went outside and started warming up. This was a nice day. Got excited, a little ahead of myself. But this isn't a bad thing to have on this day. Upside down kettlebell overhead presses. We call it bottoms up kettlebell presses. This is an incredible shoulder stabilization exercise and drill. So you use a pretty light weight, 15 pounds for me. This actually might be too much, but it's what I have. You go nice and slow through a full overhead press range of motion, keeping the bottoms up kettlebell balanced and stable the entire time. It really works your wrist and your grip. I got a good forearm pump out of this. We're warming up the delts and every single thing ever that keeps your shoulder in a good position. You know, it's interesting. Holding the kettlebell this way forces you to do good form when doing this overhead press. If you move your hand into a position that's not biomechanically optimal, that thing's going to topple way over. Very interesting. It's like the weighted press. This is the next level up from it, where you actually have to balance the weight. The entire time your forearm must remain vertical, or else the thing's going to go down, or you're going to feel it in your grip for sure. And that's going to be the limiting factor. And then it's going to force you again to put the kettlebell in the right place. It's just an awesome autocorrective exercise to include. I love to do this for a warm up. It just puts everything in the right place. Too bad I didn't do overhead presses today, though. I was feeling pretty good. Next. Oh, hello. Who are you? Today we are doing single leg straight jumps. Now you might look at this and think it's a lunge jump, but the whole goal is to use basically just the loading leg for the entire jump. There's going to be some help from that back leg, the kickstand, but this is the majority single leg jump from a low position. It's still at or above parallel in the range of motion, which is great for me right now. Don't want to go below that for a single leg. I don't have the power for it, but you see me trying to put the weight over the front leg. I was testing it out to see if I could do it just natural from the ground. I'm not sure if I can yet with some speed. So we're going to keep on using that back leg just to boost us a little. Boom. And then put all the power into the front leg. Later on, I discover a little technique change that I could make to this to make it way better. It felt so good whenever I changed it. We'll see if I can do it though. We're going to match these up, just doing 6 of them each leg. Feels pretty good. Expressing some power there. Going back to back with 12 lateral raises. Supersetting something that's completely unrelated to those. So I'd like to do an upper body movement here. Let my legs recover, and in the meantime, we can get some delt work. This is just being smart and efficient with your time. It's so hard, though, sometimes. I still end up taking forever on these workouts. But I think I've pared it down, and it's feeling pretty good at this moment. With your lateral raises, you want to hinge your hips just a little bit so that you can tip your chest forward and keep the weights slightly in front of your body. Really, these are small things. They don't matter a lot to what you're doing. You're still gonna get strong and big delts either way. Oh, I don't think I'm doing it here today. Okay, so you notice I am from the bottom, leaning forward, and I'm landing in the same spot as my front leg, or at least closer to it. The thing that I changed, I think later on, is I start pushing back, actually away from my front leg, and landing more in the middle of where my two legs are. Even though the force is still going through the front, and I'm not really dividing it up between the front and the back, I'm jumping off of one leg, and I'm kind of jumping backwards a little bit to land in the middle. And it just changed everything. It felt great. I'm trying to get a little stick at the top there. So I'm going 1, 2, 1, 2, pause. 1, 2, 1, 2, pause. I think I'm going a little bit quick here, especially on the way down. But I wanted that concentric to be pretty powerful, pretty intentional. We do a nice little hold on the last rep, bring it down nice and slow. Nice. All right, jumps one more time. Woo, shake it out, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not know how to jump, or you're uncomfortable with jumping, you haven't done it in a while, or maybe it's just something that you're uncomfortable with, I would advise you to start with nada jumps. That's where you kind of do a jump eccentric. I did one of those in, I think the last jumps and presses video, where you start with your arms straight up in the air and then you kind of throw them down to your sides. That is a great exercise to get back into jumping with, because it works the same pattern, the same muscles, the same everything. But it allows you to kind of progress into it at your own pace. And then you can progress that by starting on your toes and then going down into the bottom. And then one step further, whenever you drop your arms fast, you kind of hop off your toes just a little, like a millimeter off the ground, and then land in the bottom position. And then once you can do that and you feel comfortable with it, you know you're ready to start with small jumps, small straight jumps. And maybe you could do it from a seated position. Start with the seat pretty high up, where your thighs are above parallels when you're sitting down, and just jump up from there and land in place. You don't have to jump up to a box. You don't have to jump off of anything. You just do a small jump. It's an important human skill and movement to practice and to expose yourself to. If you don't like jumping, you can even just bounce on your toes. Okay, if you missed the last day for Bulgarian split squats, here's how I set up for the position every single time. Start at the bottom with your knee on the ground and your foot on the thing you're going to use for your balance, and then stand up to the top. You start at the bottom because the bottom position usually is the most cramped and uncomfortable. So if you started with your just standing at the top and you stick your foot back onto the block, oftentimes you end up in a weird position whenever you squat back down to the bottom, but it's rarely going to be the opposite. So you start in a kneeling position, and then kind of find where to set up from there. Always mark it though with something to put your foot at. False grip pull-ups again today. Look, we've got 3 and we kept the shape. Look at that. Still getting those sweaty hands though. I wonder if there's something that I can use as an absorbent. I don't have any, what is it called? Magnesium sulfate? I'm not really sure. I don't have any chalk. I'm a cheap boy. So we're just going to keep on working on it. I moved away from those inverted rows. I figured if I'm only going to get one or two before slipping, and I get one or two pull-ups anyways before slipping, might as well just do the higher value exercise there. And matching that with single leg calf raises. Oh, I didn't forget about Bulgarian split squats. Here's what I did. This exercise, I actually forgot what order I was doing it in. Guys, I don't know what was wrong with me today. I was freaking out. I did Bulgarian split squats and whatever it's paired with. I did that, just one set of it. Oh, tricep raises. And then I realized I was like, oh, I was supposed to do something else first. So we just switched them around, and then you'll see coming up here. But I had everything set up for it at least. Calf raises are feeling really good. I actually was able to do one or two more reps than last week. It's just hard to balance it. Standing on one foot, it's tough, especially when you're tired and fatigued. I need to find a good spot to do these at, though, where I can hold on to something else. That's like, it's easier if you're holding onto a pole. It's easier if you're at the gym, let's be honest. And you've got a squat rack. Just hang on to right there, but you got to work with what you got. So maybe I'll move away from the stair. We'll find a stepper to do this on, I think, and then go from there. Okay, we're going back into those pull-ups next, and guys, this is the secret. Here it is. It's the poor man's chalk. If you don't have any magnesium at home, then you need Quaker instant oats. Stick that stuff in a bowl, get the hands powdered, and boom, and you're ready to go. Second set of false grip pull-ups. Let's see how we're looking. I need to make sure to get a better body position, if possible. It's really tough right here. I mean, really tough. For you short people out there, I envy you. Man, you make calisthenics look so good. And one could ask, Jack, why don't you just do this on the bar? But I say to you, no, I want to do it on the rings. I want to get that good false grip position in. Grow accustomed to it. Start getting used to how it feels more and more. I mean, we've got to do muscle ups in there anyway, so might as well get used to hanging low. This setup feels nice for the calf raises, but I noticed that I'm a little bit heavier than that kettlebell. So each time I dip down below the step, it slides. I don't know if you can see it. It slides back, which means that my foot slides back, which means that I end each set like just barely on my toes. It kind of messes up the calf raises, but it's what we got. And my solution to this later on, I think in the next week's exercise, you just use more weight, and boom, problem solved. So if you have hardwood floors, use a towel, boom, put a big weight on there, boom, and you're good to go. One sign of weakness here in the calves, lack of strength through range of motion. You can see how high I'm able to get here, it's not very. So I'm dipping below the step at the bottom, and then I'm raising as high as I can at the top. Watch this. You see how low that is? So we definitely have to work on this more. And yeah, I'm going to get to bilateral as well. I think through this phase, I want to stick to unilateral calf raises, just so I can try to shore up my side-to-side differences before I start just throwing more weight at it. Boy is struggling to get a grip over here on the false grip. Okay, we've got 1. We've got 2. I see it still. 3. I had to cheat to get that one, and then we lose it for sure. Right? It looks like. Getting that little knee bend. Let's go. Let's see if I notice it eventually. I think I do, but it was too late. I was already way too far fatigued. Ooh, that's rough. So, what do I need to change here? I should use my right leg to support me and just do it bilateral through the bottom here. Just past that point. And then once I get near the top, I can lay off a bit and put the weight back onto my left leg. It's hard to feel these things in the moment. That's why it's good to film yourself if you can. I recognize some gyms don't let you film anything, but if you're at home or somewhere that allows you to do this, film yourself. That way you can see your form later on. And it's good to look in the mirror to watch yourself do these exercises, so you know like what your body's doing, you know. But it's even better to watch it after some time, so that you have fresh eyes and a fresh perspective. Okay, now we're doing Bulgarian split squats. I think we're up in weight just a little since last week. And see, here we go. Just use the same mark that you made at the beginning, and every set will be consistent. Every time you know your position is going to be the same going down, so you can perform the exercise to the best of your capability and to the best form that you currently have. Always poke, then go down. There you go. Poke, then go down. If you film yourself doing these, or you're looking in the mirror, or you have someone watch you, make sure you look for your shin angle and your chest angle to be mostly the same. That's how you know you're not bending forward too much, or shoving your knee forward too much, or doing something wacky to try to get to the bottom. Now, those things actually do have their place if you want to perform variations of squats or split squats, but if you just want to do stock standard and with good form, always poke, there, then go down, make sure you have that angle. See, my ankle range of motion is actually pretty good on both sides. My right side, though, is simply just way worse than my left side. Left side's really good. Right side needs work, but it's okay. All right, matching those up with tricep overhead presses. We try a couple little things with this. First, we're doing it with a band. I want to know how it feels to work with bands. I don't do this often. I've always kind of denigrated them. I don't really like how the maximum resistance is usually at the most favorable part of the exercise. So for instance, in this, it's the easiest whenever you're at the top and your arms are straight, you're locked out. It's the hardest at the bottom and through the bottom part when your muscle is stretched, which is where you actually want the most tension because that's where you get the most muscle growth and muscle engagement too. But I want to play around with them. Oh, those first few reps, by the way, where my elbows were really low, I was just trying out a little form thing that I saw. Who was it? Mike Israetel do with Jeff Nippard. I think it's better if you have a curl bar, like an easy bar for that to work. So I just went back to regular ones. I didn't really feel the engagement. All right, split squats again. Next set, let's see how we feel. 1, 2, 1. Okay. 1, 2. Okay, I'd like to see a little bit more of a pause at the bottom there. Oh, yikes. Big time cheating. Boy needs to slow down a little. So on these, I'm actually trying not to touch the ground with my knee. Sometimes I just, I forget and I end up dropping it like it's hot. But if I can get away with getting as low as possible without actually putting any weight on my knee in the back, we are winning. I want this to feel exactly like a weighted back squat in terms of the tension, that is. By the way, in a back squat, if it's not a box squat where you get to sit down, you don't touch anything. Technically here, I'm really not putting any weight on my knee, but just the fact that it touches the ground means there's a certain percentage of fall off of the load. So I'm not really getting maximum load at the point of maximum tension at the bottom. So we're going to trade out those tricep overhead presses with something new that I found as well. Ring tricep presses. I really am intrigued by this exercise. It's very fun. Okay. And I'm not being sarcastic. It's actually pretty fun. This is a great exercise for the triceps. One, we are loading them in a mostly overhead position here, which is the point at which your triceps are the most stretched. So we're getting a really good muscle growth benefit. Two, we're using our body weight. We don't have to use any weights for this, which means it's a very scalable, very portable exercise. It's versatile. You can put it basically anywhere that you can hang rings. Three, since we're using our body weight, we're engaging our core immensely in this position. You have to squeeze your bum, squeeze your abs. It's basically a long plank position the whole exercise. It's like we'll say it's a scaled back long plank position the whole exercise. I really love that. I think I'm going to keep that one around for sure and see how it does. You can tell I'm getting tired by the way my shoulders are starting to roll forward here. We're not able to really pull shoulder blades back and down as much. I don't have the mental capacity for it here. I should be thinking about it. But it's not a huge deal. We're doing good. All right. Now this is the side that I like to see. How are we doing, lefty? Boom. Nice. Very strong on the left side here. Sneakily strong. Getting a little bit hunched in the upper back, the thoracic spine. The way I remembered that for some reason is thoracic and Jurassic. Like whenever you're hunched over, you look like a Jurassic animal or something. I don't know. It really stuck for me. Turns out it's very useful to know the names of some of these anatomical terms and positions and stuff because doctors use them and studies use them and exercise physiologists use them and stuff. So if you're just a layperson out here in these streets trying to get strong, trying to be healthy, you're going to come across a lot of these terms. And you need not to shy away from learning them. It's very important. I adjusted the position on this a little, I think, with my hands. I incurred some wrist pain actually on that first set. I think I was holding the rings. I don't know. I don't know what was so different about it. I think the angle of my hands was incorrect. Here, I tried to choke up more toward the inside of the rings so that my palms were facing kind of one another. And that seemed to help a lot. There's a couple ways to do that. You can either turn so that your hands are facing toward each other, not completely, but kind of at an angle. Or you can have your hands facing the ground and you're still using the heel of your hand to press. You don't really need your fingers a lot. Or you can let the ring slide into the hook of your fingers and kind of pull yourself down into it. Yeah, ring tricep presses. Beautiful exercise. And you are beautiful too. Be good, everybody. Stay strong and peace be with you.